Every single day, Cora Bailey does something really unusual for a white South African. She leaves behind the middle-class suburbs where people with money seal themselves off from people without.
Hello, South Africa. Hello.
And ventures into some of the country's most dangerous and deprived communities.
There are a lot of dodgy characters here.
To help the animals she finds there,
Look.
and their owners too.
Okay, you squeeze. Okay. I can be in the townships for weeks on end, going daily, and never see another white. Sometimes just a bus with tourists, and they're all foreign. And what a shame that is.
For 10 days, I followed Cora and her dedicated team to try to understand why this woman has devoted almost 25 years of her life to fighting the legacy of apartheid. Today, Cora's visiting an isolated rural community outside Johannesburg. Her first stop is a friend and local animal lover.
Hello, Jim.
Hello, Korra.
How are you?
Jim's really worried about one of his dogs.
Okay, let's have a look at you. Oh, I see what you mean by pale. Come, baby. Come here. Oh, my word. This dog is really, really ill. She's completely dehydrated. You see that?
Watching Cora, it's incredible to think she's not a trained vet. She's largely self-taught. Over the years, she's picked up the basics so she can get the job done.
This dog looks as if it's got a tick-borne disease called babesia. Have you seen the colour of her gums?
Yeah, completely white.
Yeah.
When she started out 24 years ago, South Africa was still ruled by its white minority. Cora was on the board of the SPCA, but frustrated by its lack of concern for animal welfare in the townships.
Well, essentially I was told that I had to raise the money myself and it was all at my own risk. And there was a lot of negativity about it.
So this is Beckersdale?
For many years, Cora's only companion in the townships was this man, De Villiers Kachwa. They've been through thick and thin together.
She was white in black areas, so everybody was wondering what is her interest. She's not scared of anything.
De Villiers and Cora ran the vet service themselves until the International Fund for Animal Welfare helped them expand.
This is the special part of doing the outreaches, when you have these little ones bring their animals in.
Now they call themselves Claw, community-led animal welfare.
So it's incredibly sad that the people who live in the poorer areas have virtually got no access to vet care. They can't get to a vet, and even if they could, it would be too costly for them. So animals suffer needlessly.
So every day, just a little bit of this, so you'll catch that.
When Cora and De Villiers first came here in 1993, Beckersdale was a battleground. There were violent clashes in the run-up to the country's first democratic election.
Peacekeeping troops were unable to stop a deadly gun battle between backers of Inkatha and the African National Congress.
Cora saw things then that still haunt her today.
People who were considered to be informants were often beaten brutally or put to death, sometimes by fire.
Were you frightened?
Sometimes terribly, yes.
As rival political factions attacked each other, people fled Beckersdale, abandoning their pets.
And what sort of condition were the animals and what sort of things did you see when you came here?
The animals were not right, they were skin and bones because they were starving. And then here on the field here, you would see the dogs lying there. I saw the flies coming out from the grass. I look what is there. I noticed it was the body of a human being, rotten there.
De Villiers doesn't remember Cora being frightened, not even when he was robbed at gunpoint.
Was Cora here then?
He was next to me, but he couldn't see because she was busy with the cats here.
She was busy with the cat.
With the cats because the cats were left behind there also. See? I said, Cora, let's go here.
Does Cora get scared?
No, she just gets stupid, she just gets scared.
She what?
She just gets stupid, she just gets scared. She used to fight back there.
20 years after apartheid ended, not much has changed in places like this.
Yeah, political freedom hasn't put food on the table for everyone. Political freedom hasn't meant decent housing or sanitation.
Cora's friend Jim might have the vote, but despite the promises of black politicians, he still lives in a shack.
So she's having seizures. Oh, baby.
And he struggles to look after his daughter, Mina, who suffers from cerebral palsy.
She's so beautifully taken care of here by her parents. It would be so nice here if they had electricity. It's very hard to care for a child when you have no electricity or running water. She needs to go to the hospital for a full checkup, Jim. We're gonna do that.
Communities like this have been devastated by disease, especially AIDS.
Kiribona has a very hard life. She's not well.
I'm HIV, and I've got no eyes, and I'm TV.
Along with medicine for the animals, Cora carries food for people in desperate need. Good nutrition is vital when you have HIV, and this food parcel will make a huge difference to Kitty and her 3 children.
Did your work evolve from looking after the animals to looking after people as well?
It was never very easy to tell people how to look after their animals. If you saw the dire poverty, which sadly still exists today, it's really difficult to ignore.
Cora can't ignore it. On recent visits here, she's had to deal with a child who was raped and another child badly burned in a cooking fire.
Hello. Hello. Are you scared of me? Don't be scared. Kan ek sien hoe lyk sy rug? Kan ek sien? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. The boy was terribly, terribly burnt. We took him to hospital. The parents were under the influence and had a fight, and they knocked over the fire, the burner. That's how he got burnt. Oh, they're sick.
Right now, there's a different medical emergency brewing.
Yes, he's breathing. Oh God, is he breathing? He hasn't got tick bite fever, but he's really, really ill. We need to get him in the car. Oh, if we don't get him to a hospital soon, he's going to die.
Before we leave, Cora makes a nasty discovery.
Oh my God, it's got maggots in its mouth.
You don't have a tissue.
Cora had arrived in the nick of time. I later learned that the dog made a full recovery.
So is that a normal evening's work?
Yes. Yes.
Does it make you count your blessings when you go home?
Yes, absolutely. I never complain about a lack of anything. You know, I'm hugely content with my modest home. This used to be a beautiful village. Originally, it was where the white people lived in the old days.
This is Durban Deep near Soweto. Once a historic gold mining village, it was sold to a property developer, and now thieves have stripped it bare. It's home to the Claw Clinic.
We've had a lot of vigilantism in the area. We've had locals beating up looters. So we've had murder and mayhem there. In fact, enough to make our district have the highest murder rates in the province.
It's tough running a vet clinic in the middle of a virtual war zone. They have no water or electricity.
Now here, we can only do very basic things because we've got no electricity.
Cora's waiting for a new clinic to be built at Durban Deep. In the meantime, surgery can only be done by Claw vets at a hospital half an hour away.
So every animal that gets treated in our clinic gets sterilised before it goes back home.
Why?
Because there are too many dogs in the townships everywhere.
Back at Durban Deep, Cora reinforces that idea. And you're never too young to get the message.
Why do you think it's good to sterilise a dog? I know you love puppies, but there's too many already. And there's not enough people with food and money to buy food. And do you think your mother would be happy if she had a baby every year? No. No.
Yes.
No. So we have to do prevention.
Cora says that when she tries to drum up support for Claw, she still struggles with the prejudice of many white South Africans.
There is a huge perception here, and that comes from our totally racist background, that any dogs in the townships suffer and they should all be removed. You know, fortunately, we see a different side. Which one puppies do you like?
I mean, I like this. All of them, all of them.
Well, these puppies are lucky to have you.
Yes.
Outside, a new generation of pet owners has been lured to the clinic, and who can blame them?
So tell me why you came here today.
Because I like dogs. Dog, I treat him just like my brother or my friend.
Many children here come from families and communities fractured by violence. Claw hopes that encouraging their natural compassion for animals could help change that.
Definitely. They look after them, they give them love, they play with them. So they don't have time to do mischief and get into trouble. And it's just, and they're happy because they've got a friend. So they don't look for anything else.
When I visit Cora at home, I find it's not that different to the Claw Clinic.
Hello.
Animals everywhere, dozens of them.
George.
There are the parrots and the dogs.
Come on, guys, come on.
So many dogs that she feeds them in stages to minimise the chaos. And then there's the kittens. 3 unwanted litters of them, all waiting for a good home. Her home has become a kind of annex to the Claw Clinic.
This is Pratley. He's named after a putty which sticks like glue. He was completely feral and terrified. I've always loved animals, really. I used to think every dog in the street was in urgent need of care.
And your husband doesn't mind?
Oh, you know, he's kind of got used to things.
He's very patient, obviously.
Yes. He's patient and supportive, otherwise I guess this couldn't happen. Okay. Patty.
Despite Cora's best efforts, not every animal can be saved.
Hey, you're frightened of having your head touched. He's got a battle-scarred face and that wound is septic.
This old pit bull terrier has just been abandoned by its owner. It has an enormous, inoperable tumour.
Oh, you got him without... Oh, you got him. All right, baby. The dog is clearly in pain. He's frightened of having his head touched. I think there's been a fair amount of abuse here. He may have been used for fighting. Just get him nice and relaxed. Haven't you had a cuddle for a long time? Oh, excuse me.
There's nothing Cora can do to treat this dog.
It's very much a case of neglect. It's really cruel that it's been allowed to go on for so long. Okay, it's like that. You know, sometimes if you put to sleep an old dog that's had a good life, then you're actually doing that old dog a favor, you know, by letting him go painlessly. But a dog like this, where you're actually doing it because someone has allowed something to get so bad, then it hurts. Right, let's be off.
What really haunts Cora isn't the animal cruelty she confronts every day. It's knowing how much more she doesn't see and can't prevent.
It's very, very hard. So sometimes better just to get stuck in and work and not think about that too much. Well done.
Cora knows that Claw can't go into the townships and just help the animals.
Cora is on the go 24/7. She helps, I think, anything that moves, that breathes, whether it's got 2 legs or 4 legs. Whatever needs attention, Cora is there for them.
There's food parcels, gardening classes, and looking out for the local kids. Cora's making sandwiches for kids who don't get enough food at home. She's far better at caring for others than looking after herself.
When was the last time you had a day off?
A long time ago.
Are we talking weeks or months?
Actually, I had pneumonia in October, so I had a few days off in hospital. How sad is that? What have you got behind your back? Ah, you still got a full one there. Go on.
But the suffering she sees every day also takes a psychological toll. While the kids were getting chocolates, Cora pointed out 2 small, smiling girls and told me they'd both been raped.
It is a highly emotional job. I mean, there's hardly a day goes by where you don't see some kind of suffering, and sometimes you see suffering that's almost indescribable, that you can't come home and talk to your family about.
So tell me what's happened.
So I've just had a call to say that someone's brought in a poisoned dog. Unfortunately, poisoning is pretty much an everyday situation.
The victims have usually eaten poisoned meat left out for rats. There's no power and no light at the clinic, so emergency calls after dark are always difficult. Unfortunately, after we arrive, we find out we're too late.
The owner was in tears. The dog's just died. Oh, look at you. Oh, it's such a cruel way to die.
The agricultural poison used is illegal but popular because it's so cheap and because townships are plagued by rats.
We're going to a place called Kliptown. We're going to look for, at filming the sale of illegal poison.
Cora wants to show me how easy it is to buy the deadly poison, and she's brought along Lucky to make the purchase. I'm hoping that heading to a dangerous part of town to film illegal activity isn't as risky as it sounds.
What do you think's the worst that could happen, Lucky?
For me, nothing. I don't know about you guys.
The shirt is really tight. I could be the vital distraction, you see. Don't you dare put that.
Cora seems to embrace her undercover role. Lucky asks for the poison and pretends he doesn't know us. The guys selling the poison clearly know it's illegal. The handover looks like a drug deal.
Okay, here he comes.
So show us what you got.
I've got this.
Ah, that's what it looks like. And how much did
It cost 10 rand, just $1 Australian dollar.
You just said, can I have some rat poison?
Despite Cora's numerous appeals to police, the deadly trade continues.
I'm ready to cry.
Why are you ready to cry?
Pretty much everything.
Sometimes it looks like it's all getting too much for Cora.
Cora, hello?
Today she's short-staffed and there's a monkey in mortal danger that needs rescuing.
I'm in disarray. Sounds terribly posh, doesn't it?
See you soon.
Still vomit on the car seat.
But no matter how bad it gets, Cora sees the glass half full.
It sometimes can be like, oh my God, you know, another cruelty complaint, but yet, I mean, it's amazing that people are coming to us with those issues.
Cora says that when they ran the mobile clinics in the early days, nobody came.
She run and bite? Okay.
Now they rejoice at the never-ending queues. It might sound corny, but they really do seem to be healing South Africa one pet at a time.
Every now and again, we all celebrate if we get a dog coming in for a tick treatment and it was first vaccinated 8 or 10 years ago. It's like, wow, can you believe that?
I was surprised after 10 days with Cora that there weren't more people like her helping out in the townships. She told me several times that I'd seen far more than most whites ever do.
We South Africans aren't a bad lot, and I think a lot more people would do things if they got over their fear. You know, people in this country fear each other.